Hi, I'm Mike Jones, son of Vic and Marietta Jones and grandson of Kenneth and Marion Jones, who we all called Grandpa Kenneth and Grandma Marion. The video you are about to see was originally recorded by my grandparents. When Grandpa Kenneth died in 1990, my dad, Vic Jones, who was the oldest of the 6 siblings, took possession of their 8mm film. It's now 2012, and earlier this year I converted that film into a digital format so that it could be preserved. While the original 12 reels of film only takes about 2 hours to watch, much of it was taken on Grandpa and Grandma's trips to Alaska, and a significant portion was focused on wildlife and scenery. What you're about to see is an 18-minute segment that shows everything from their film that pertains to Vic and Marietta's family. Since the original film did not contain sound, on December 22nd of 2012, while visiting my parents to celebrate Mom's 81st birthday, I asked my parents to watch this video while I recorded their recollection of what they were watching.
Grandpa Kenneth backing up to meet us in Saskatoon on the way to Haines, Alaska. Walt and Carol setting up tent at Saskatoon. Grandpa Kenneth and Grandma Marion are there also. Our car top carrier on the car that we drove.
You can always tell which car we are. Oh no, we all had car top carriers, didn't we? Now, I don't see one on that car, but it seems like Walt and Carol had one too, or did your dad make it later? I don't see him.
Getting ready to picnic.
There's Doug and Janine and Terry.
Jerry and Mike.
Oh, really?
And here are Walt's children, Tammy and Jody and
Janine, Mike. And Gary's at the end. There's Steve. Oh my goodness.
at Liard Hot Springs in Canada.
And that was a welcome relief.
Right on the Alaska Highway.
And it was warm water.
Hot water.
Hot water. It was refreshing after riding for days without taking a bath. It was very welcoming. There's Mike. Is that Grandpa? We had 3 vehicles, didn't we? Walt and Carol drove, and your folks drove.
Grandma
and we
Marion
drove.
on the diving board. Now we're at Whitehorse, climbing the hill beside the Miles Canyon at Whitehorse. And now we're seeing Miles Canyon at Whitehorse.
Which is on the way to Haines. Still on the Alaska Highway, wasn't it, before the turnoff?
Mm-hmm. Whitehorse is around mile 900 from the start of the Alaska Highway. We've got to go a little over 100 miles farther before we turn south to go to Haines.
So this getting out of the car and exercising was a welcome change.
Another view of Miles Canyon and the bridge across Miles Canyon.
Are we putting up another tent?
No, I'm not sure what we're doing here. This is a bridge across Miles Canyon, I think.
Maybe, were we camping there one night?
Oh, now we're at Haines dressing fish. We had king salmon and a halibut.
Isn't it Stanley? Uncle Stanley? Your brother?
Yes, on the right, he's the one that's cleaning the fish.
And Mike is waving.
Steve was beside him. And I think we're at
Mike and Craig.
the lake at Desdias up in Canada, north of Haines, quite a ways.
And we camped there one night, but it was cold water, but we seem to have enjoyed it. That looks like Craig and Mike.
Craig and on the left of Mike. Janine.
Pretty view. Nice water. Only it was cold. We camped there.
See, Craig on the left and Janine. And is that Tammy or Jody?
Tammy.
And I think this is Matt.
Right.
And Eunice and probably Bucky.
Uh-huh. Water wasn't too cold for them. Someone's fishing.
Getting ready to gunnel walk, I think.
Looks like Uncle Walt. Not my uncle, but the children's uncle. We had a 3-car caravan, and we changed the children from one car to another to help keep peace. It took us how long to get there? 10 days? It's a long drive. Then we camped at Desdiash.
Here, Stan, and I think, who was the other end of the canoe?
It looked like a woman, probably Pat.
Probably was Stan and Pat.
And all of the kids.
Aunt Carol and Uncle Walt hugging.
Mm-hmm.
Rowing the flooded canoe.
Here we go again. See who can dump who off the canoe. Who is that?
Probably Stan and Walt. I had more sense than to get out there in the cold water.
I get dunked. Somebody has long hair.
There's Doug and Janine and myself, Steve,
Eunice.
Aunt Eunice,
Your dad.
Grandpa Kenneth, Uncle Walt.
Mm-hmm. That's
Aunt
Carol.
Carol with the darker
I guess I must be
sweater.
sitting beside her.
Yes, that's your.
Oh, that's a
Meredith.
jacket I wore when I was pregnant for Mike, and I passed it on to Carrie so she could wear it when she was pregnant for her first child. I still had it after all those years.
Uncle Walt eating something.
That's Matt.
Matt with a backpack.
That's too
and
heavy for him.
Is it Jody or I think Jody with a backpack and Craig?
Mm-hmm. There's Doug.
Now we're at Stan and Pat's home in Haines, the end of the house.
Backed up against the mountains.
Recently built, and they don't have a lawn yet.
And we climbed up the mountain that was behind the house, as far as our legs would take us. There's Janine and Doug again.
Our old 9 by 16 tent at Pickerel Lake.
And we slept a lot of people in there. We had 12 people in there at one time. When
Mike and
Walt
Marietta
Carol,
and Grandpa Kenneth, Janine, Mike and Victor, Marietta, Kenneth, Gary, Mike, Janine, Victor at the stove. I'm not sure what lake we're at here.
where was this taken?
I don't know.
Maybe we'll get a clue.
I think
There's Janine.
North Carolina Beach, I think.
They're having fun in the water. It must not be real cold. Is that someone's dog? Who brought their dog?
I don't think that's